We're working on Henry here today, and he had some pain on the outside of his knee out here. And so what's going to happen is the adductor is what causes that. So we're going to go to the top of his adductor here and put some pressure down. So anybody that has knee issues, you don't want to start at their knee and push up towards their heart. A lot of books, people will teach you that way. They'll show you that way. They'll tell you how incredible they are. Please don't do it. If you want to get rid of knee pain, you have to go from the muscles above it and move down to the knee. If you had pain on the inside of your knee, it'd be coming from your IT band. So on the outside where he has it, it's always going to be the adductor. So he has just a hump of muscle here that we're moving it down some because it's a big hump here and it's less muscle down through here. So we're going from the bigger area to the smaller area. So now I don't feel the big hump as much, but I feel like one band, like one rope here that doesn't belong in his body. So the muscles are going long ways like this. So we're going what's called cross fiber work. So we're agitating, we're moving the muscle around, and that's creating blood flow and circulation into the muscle immediately as I move it. And it gets a little drop down here, so I'm going to go back to the top again. Is that okay, Henry? Mm-hmm. And I'm just nice and slow. And sometimes I'll put one hand right on the knee too, and I'll find different areas, and I'll actually feel it underneath the kneecap. A lot of times the client won't notice it, but I'll feel it there, and I use that as my gauge. Because when I feel it less underneath the kneecap, even though they don't feel it, it'll come to be a point where I barely feel it, and I know they have to feel better because I don't feel that tension in there anymore. So now we're bringing this muscle down now. And I always use some kind of a towel, something on the outside. So the main thing I can tell you about things like this is not a race. And you're just kind of moving down. Then when you get down to the knee is where you want to stop. So we can go back to the side here just a little bit. Because right there where his hamstring is next to the adductor on the inside here, it's really tight. And then we'll do like a little light pulsing and rocking. And I'm kind of going from this bigger area, and I'm kind of rolling, I'm pushing some downward force down towards his knee, because the muscle is just bunching up from a smaller area here up towards the top. That's just a natural thing to happen with muscles. So I'm just kind of going in sections and moving all of this down. So it's taking more load off of his knee right away. Now we'll go back up here to the adductor. Now I try and never lift off the body except when I come back to start a new pass. And you always want to go from a bigger muscle to a smaller muscle. So now I'm kind of like rocking, twisting a little bit like this. Now we'll go back more to the hamstring a little bit. So his hamstring is almost tighter than the adductor. And a lot of methods are very good for a lot of things. But when you have a bulging, just big, huge knot of muscle, the way I've learned to get that, once you have this big muscle down and the body can move naturally, then it's a good thing if you want to do, people will talk a lot about flossing and cupping and things like that. My experience with all those things is that they seem to do some benefit to people. But when you just have a big ball of muscle, all it's going to do, in my opinion, is lift that ball of muscle up and drop it back down again. So as we do this, 10, 15 minutes of this, we're actually moving that. You can physically test it and the ball of muscle is moving down instead of just one big ball, one big ball here, and then this is just like empty, say. So if you're at a restaurant giving people portions of food, this person here is getting all the food. No food's getting to these other people. They're starving. So we're sharing the food. And you don't have to put a lot of force. I'm just kind of letting the weight of my body lean on it some. We just want enough tension so it's actually moving the muscle some. So I'm trying to change my angle a little bit now. And this is working pretty well now. I was going straight like this. Now I'm changing the angle a little bit. And his muscle's really cooperating now. What I've learned with athletes, or just anybody, you know how thick a lead pencil is. It's not very thick, the lead part. That's the difference between pain and no pain inside the body. Everything's pretty close together. So now I'm having to search more to find stuff because that big hump is gone now. So now we're just kind of keep gliding down, moving it out. His body really benefited a lot when we started getting this cross fiber work with a little bit of an angle. Some people, when there's a tight muscle too, you can also make a fist, open and close your hand, and that kind of changes the force on the muscle. So you just have to figure out everybody's a little different style. So that's the best pass we've got. There's still a small hump, but it's way better than it was before. Can you notice any difference, Henry, how that unraveled? So now we're going to go on the outside. So if he had inside knee pain, we want to work on the outside. And where we start off first is right at his belt line, right here, right below his hip there. That's his tensa fasciae lata muscle. TFL, they call it for short. So we want to have a little bit of space here. A lot of people, when this is really tight, they can't bring their knee down to the table because it's so tight. And again, I'm just making space. I'm creating a little rocking motion. And having people lay sideways like this, you can work on both sides of the body very efficiently. Instead of having them face down, the first thing I notice when they get up, when they're face down for 30 minutes, is they can't breathe. Their nose is all stuffed up. And they're uncomfortable just because of the way they're laying. So I developed this move so you can do a lot of work with less wear and tear on the client. Okay, now we have to have a little space there. Now we're going to come to the front. So it feels like he's got like a piece of titanium or some aircraft material in here. It should be one flat band, and it's just like a big hump here, and then it goes down to, more from there. So I'm just kind of pulsing it, starting at the top here. So this is one in one of my previous videos that we posted up. Shows that 8-pound medicine ball rolling on this. Now it's already getting a little bit easier. So a lot of these muscles no one's ever worked on, or they don't work on it very much, or they use a foam roller, and the foam roller is amazing for your back because your back is pretty much just flat. So now I'm just getting the back side of the IT band. So a lot of athletes, a lot of fighters, a lot of military, if you feel a big hump or there's a big bubble or something in the middle of the hamstring, you can identify that, and before it tears somewhere, you can loosen it up and spread it out, like as you watch in the videos when we're spreading the muscle back out again, and you keep them from getting injured, because those kind of injuries can put you out from 3 to 6 months. Now we're getting a pretty darn good pass now. And the way I can tell, it's easier to move. When I first pushed on here, nothing was happening. Henry's body was saying very bad words to me. Very bad words.
Close to that.
So we just keep moving like that. Now we'll come back to the backside just a little bit. So here he's got like an extra little bump now, so I'm going to work just right on that one spot. So it's okay to move around a little bit, and when you're doing the body work yourself, you see how I'm pretty upright. I keep at pretty good angles. I'm not all twisted down like this. I bend my knees just a little bit, so that lets my body drop in, so I don't have to use my shoulder to move on him. If you need more tension, then you just step back a little bit, so you can actually lean in. So now we can see, I mean, my arm is moving a lot easier down everything. Now we'll go back to the front and double check. And still pretty tight right there. Now right here it starts to loosen up a little bit. So here again, that's the secret to gold. That muscle is actually unraveling. So the inside of the knee has to feel better because there's not as much tension on it anymore. Oh, that's amazing right there. So it's getting that little rocking motion like that. We're going across the fibers since they run long ways. And why do we go across the fibers, everybody? We do that because we want to get blood flow and circulation to that area. And we don't need it in a couple months. We need it now because there's a fight or there's a tournament or whatever in 1 or 2 days. And we have to be prepared for that. We're not going to go there to showcase our bodies and then start falling apart at the opening day. There we go. Okay, you can just go ahead and stand up, Henry, see if that feels any different.
Yeah. Definitely here.
Yeah. So I'll have you sit up here, and then if you get pain right down the center of the kneecap, so then you're just going to work on the quadricep muscle. At his hip insertion point. So sometimes it'll just be creaking like right down the middle. So we're going to start right at the top here. So right here is pretty tight. So we'll go back up to the top again. Now see, when I press right here, I feel it in his kneecap. So he might not even have a problem with it. So what we're doing like it's preventive maintenance.
What are you feeling in the kneecap?
I just feel like it's a creaky door, like it's like a lounge chair or something that's
Not oiled.
Not oiled. I feel friction. And most people never feel it. Some people say they do, but most people don't ever feel it. So then I know when I'm doing the work, if I keep working and I keep making passes and I don't feel it in the kneecap anymore, then I know that they have to feel better because the symptoms are changing. And ideally, I'd have this table all the way against a wall so he can lean against a wall because it's going to hurt his wrist if we do it too long, but I want to just do it long enough to show you a demonstration. So right here where I felt it a lot, I still feel it, but just barely. And see, he wasn't even complaining about that. Okay, stand on that, see if that helped any on that.
Yeah. Yeah.